Hello and good afternoon. I'm Mitchell and welcome back to spoiler season. Happy Monday. It's week 2 of Cavern of Ixalan spoilers. I hope everybody had a good weekend. If you played in any tournaments, I hope you did well. Or if you did bad, I hope at least you learned something. Today we actually have a few new caves to look at and a couple of sweet cards. The first one we'll look at is the Echoing Deep. It's a cave. You may have Echoing Deep enter the battlefield tapped as a copy of any land card in a graveyard, except it's a cave in addition to its other types, and it taps for a colorless. It's a really cool design. They can come in as any land in your graveyard, and then it makes it a cave for any other synergies. Another cave over here, Forgotten Monument, taps for colorless, but other caves you control can tap, pay 1 life, and add 1 color of any, or 1 mana of any color. That's a pretty cool design. Kind of reminds me of like gate cycles going on now. I wonder if we'll have like a commander or a legendary creature that'll let you win for having caves or something to do with more with caves. This card is Dirge of the Forgotten. 1 blue, 1 black for sorcery. Descend to 8. Choose 1. If your graveyard is 8 or more permanent cards, when you cast the spell, choose 1 or more instead. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Target opponent discards a card, or look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand, and the rest into the graveyard. This ain't bad. You're already gonna put it in like a graveyard deck. This last one's pretty nice for that, and then once you have 8, it's just gonna get better. All right, we'll move down to this land. It's another one of the man lands. Restless Reef. Enters battlefield tapped. It taps for a blue or a black. You can pay 2, a blue and a black, and Restless Reef becomes a 4/4 blue and black shark creature with death touch until the end of the turn. Still a land. I think all the lands turn into like I think one turns into like a llama and a shark. I think these are cool creature types they turn into. Whenever Restless Reef attacks, target player mills 4 cards, and that's actually a pretty nice little mill 4 is a good chunk. Maybe not commander, but. Alright. Squirming Emergence. 1 colorless, a black, and a green for a sorcery. Return to the battlefield target non-land permanent card in your graveyard with mana value less than or equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. Pretty cool recursion spell. Artwork's pretty sick. Probably butcher this. Packle, I guess. First Among Equals. 2 colorless and a blue. For a human advisor, he's a legendary creature. A 1/5. At the beginning of each player's end step, if an artifact enters the battlefield under your control this turn, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put 1 of them in your hand and the other in your graveyard. That's kind of neat. So if an artifact enters the battlefield under your control this turn. So like making treasures or making tokens or anything, any kind of shenanigans like that on your opponent's turns. Lets you dig 2 cards. That's pretty sweet. This one's pretty gnarly. I don't think it's overpowered, but it's pretty gnarly. Chimil, the Inner Sun. 6 colorless. Legendary artifacts. Spells you control can't be countered in the beginning of your end step. Discover 5, and I think Discover 5 is one of the better mechanics from the set. This is the one where you exile the top card of your library until you exile a non-land card with mana value 5 or less. You cast it without paying its mana cost, or you put it into your hand, and then you put the rest on the bottom of your library. So it's just a free spell at the end of your turn every turn. Merfolk, Sentinel of the Nameless City. 2 colorless and a green. A Merfolk Warrior Scout. He's a 3/4. Vigilance. Whenever Sentinel of the Nameless City enters the battlefield or attacks, you create a map token. That's the one that lets you tap it for 1 and explore. We'll skip these. We got Diamond Pickaxe. That's pretty cool. Ooh, I like this one. The Molten Collapse for 1 black and a red. It's a sorcery speed, which is kind of sad, but you choose 1. If you descended this turn, you may choose 1. You may choose both instead. You descend if a permanent was put into the graveyard from anywhere. You can destroy target creature or planeswalker. Destroy target non-creature, non-land permanent with mana value 1 or less. It'll see play. It's kind of along with like Dreadbore and stuff. But it being sorcerer speed definitely does hurt it. I thought this was a cool little mana dork. For 1 green, you get a 1/1 human druid. And you tap, add 1 mana of any color. You can spend this mana only to cast a dinosaur spell or activate ability of a dinosaur source. So that's, I mean, if you have a dinosaur deck, 1 mana elf or any color is pretty nice. Or a druid, not an elf, I'm sorry. This thing looks wicked. The Starved Revenant. For 2 colors and 2 black, you get a 4/4 Spirit Horror. When this enters the battlefield, surveil 2. Then for each card you put on top of your library, draw a card and lose 3 life. And then when you have Descent 8, whenever you draw a card, if you have 8 or more permanents in your graveyard, targeted player loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So you're going to have this in the graveyard deck, fill your yard. When you get that Descent, then every time you draw a card, you're going to be pinging somebody as well. The Ancient One. 1 blue, 1 black. Legendary creature spirit god with Descent 8. This can attack or block if you have less than 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. So pretty much you play this and it just sits there. But it's an 8/8 for 2, which is wild. Then for 2, a blue and a black, you draw a card, then discard a card. When you do, target player mills equal to that card's mana value. The artwork is sick, and I kind of like this design. So you like put this on, you play this out for 2 mana, then you can pay 4, draw a card, discard a card, and then so you draw a card, then you discard. That's 1 card. Then you can mill, and you could possibly fill your yard even more to get that Descent 8, and then you have an 80 that can attack. That could happen pretty fast. Another fungus legendary creature. Akawali, the Seething Tower. 1 colorless, a black and a green for a 3/3 fungus. As long as there are 4 more permanent cards in your graveyard, Akawali, the Seething Tower, gets +2/+2 and has trample. And as long as there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard with Descent 8, he gets an additional +2/+2 and can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. He get pretty nasty the more you fill your yard, being would that be a 7/7 with trample that can only be blocked with 1 creature. A couple of the Jurassic Park cards were also spoiled. You have Owen Grady in blue. They're both partners, which is pretty cool. Owen Grady, Raptor Trainer, 1 colorless, a red and a green. For a human soldier scientist, he's a 3/2. He partners with blue Loyal Raptor. You can tap him, put your choice of a menace, trample, reach, or haste counter on target dinosaur. You can only activate it as a sorcery. Blue, the Loyal Raptor, is 2 colorless, a green and a blue. For a dinosaur, 5/4. Partner with Owen Grady. For each kind of counter on blue Loyal Raptor, each other dinosaur you control enters the battlefield with a counter of that kind on it. Then Hunting Velociraptor, 3 mana, 2 colorless and a red for a 3/2 dinosaur. First strike. Dinosaur spells you cast have Prowl 2 or Prowl pay 3. Prowl was that old mechanic worked with. I think fairies had it, or rogues had it, I believe. You may cast a spell for its Prowl cost if you dealt combat damage to a player this turn with a creature. With any of its creature types. This turn with a creature with any of its creature types. I'm sorry. 2 basic mountains. Dinosaur art. This is, I believe, Coat of Arms reprint from the special guest. Looks pretty sweet. An Explorer Commander. It's a Merfolk Scout. A blue and a green, a 2/3. Whenever a creature you control explores a land, you may put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. Whenever a creature you control explores a non-land card, put a +1/+1 counter on. Yeah, okay. So I think you'd play this being your Explorer commander over your Merfolk commander. I'd probably play one of the other Merfolk legends over this if you're going more of a tribal route. If you're going more of an Explorer route, this thing is actually kind of cool. If your creature explores, usually that land. Usually that land goes into your hand, so this will let you put on the battlefield tap right away. And then if you do get a +1/+1, if when you explore and it's not a land and you get a +1/+1 counter on the creature that explored, your commander also get a +1/+1 counter, so they grow together. It's kind of nifty, not too powerful, and it's an uncommon, so this could actually be a Pauper EDH commander. Dusk Rose Reliquary. It's 1 white for an artifact. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you sacrifice an artifacted creature. It has Ward 2. When it enters the battlefield, you exile target artifacted creature and opponent controls until this leaves the battlefield. So it's kind of like Portable Hole or the Glass Casket, I think, from Eldraine, I believe is whatever it's called. But this one's kind of nice that it has the Ward 2. This definitely will see play. Pioneer might see this with Portable Hole, so you can run like 8 copies of this effect if you want that. But the Ward 2 is definitely a good change. And another ship. Magmatic Galleon. 3 colorless, 2 red, 5/5 vehicle. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage to target creature and opponent controls. Whenever one or more creatures and opponent controls dealt excess non-combat damage, create a treasure token, and you can create 2. Love to see all the ships. Maybe I'll build some kind of vehicle pirate crewing deck. And that is it for today. Look like we got some pretty spicy mythics today involving this one. No, I guess that was the only mythic. And then we got some cool cave lands. I can't wait to see where the cave lands go. If there's going to be like a certain commander for them, or if there's going to be more payoffs for the caves. Yeah, so we will probably be back tomorrow with more spoilers, and I hope you guys have a wonderful night.